Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. What an amazing episode. But before I get into my review, if you're new to this channel, hello and welcome. I summarize and review the latest by Yanlış and send you a couple of my episodes. Say what I liked, what I didn't like, what I think might happen next. If you like these kinds of videos, like, comment, share and most importantly subscribe so we can meet on a weekly basis. Before I get into the amazing Ezgi and Özgür storyline, as always, let's talk a little bit about the others. First we have the mothers. It was so painfully awkward. Fitnat was so hilarious. Nevin wanting them to apologize for the words they said. Sevim was having such a hard time to apologize. Fitnat was eating her meatballs, encouraging Sevim to do all those things, to even hug with Nevin. It was hilarious. But thank God they apologized and they kind of made up. But after Sevim and Fitnat left, you could still see that Fitnat had this plan to play to be supportive towards Ezgi and Özgür, but to secretly destroy their relationship. So they go to Istanbul, talk to Ezgi. Sevim kind of apologizing, saying that she wants to leave all the bad things behind her, blah blah blah. Ezgi, the good heart that she is, she accepts that apology and says of course we can start over, blah blah blah. And when they are talking like Sevim, Fitnat and Ezgi took Sevim's hand, you could really see that Sevim is having a hard time to say all those words, and you could really see that it was an act for her because she pulled her hand away. Özgür was actually watching them. He was already kind of tense, kind of angry because of the whole Tolga thing, and when he sees Sevim and Fitnat actually questioning Ezgi about her job and Ezgi telling them that she quit her job, Fitnat is like, well of course, because now you're back with Özgür. So that was the last straw for him. So he goes off on them, gets really angry, takes Ezgi away, saying you're the reason I'm like that, blah blah blah. Sevim is really shocked. Ezgi is not really happy with Özgür, the way he behaved towards his mother and aunt, but he's like they deserved it, blah blah blah. Anyways, Emre and Gizem are talking about the trouble with Tolga, and Fitnat and Sevim actually overhear it. They want more information. Gizem walks away, doesn't want to talk to them. Emre tells them everything, and that's when it switches for Sevim. That's when she really sees how good Ezgi is as a person and how much she supported Özgür. So the next day she goes to Özgür, apologizes for everything, says that she will go back to Göçke, blah blah blah. Even Emre is wiping away a tear because it was so emotional. Özgür also apologizing for his behavior, and then him also telling them not to leave because there's this opening of the new restaurant, so they should stay. And it was really nice to see them happy together and not being angry with each other. Then we have Emre and Gizem. Emre was hilarious. His obsession with Gizem's phone, because when Özgür tells Deniz and Ozan about what happened with Tolga at the new restaurant, Özgür is like, who could give inside information? It has to be somebody from here. And that's when it clicks for Emre and is looking at Gizem. And she's like, what are you looking at, blah blah blah. But she's kind of relieved when Özgür blames Serdar. Emre is kind of observing Gizem, seeing that she's constantly on her phone when something happens, so he wants to find out the code. And it was hilarious the way he dropped the phone behind the bar, Gizem looking for it, then him asking Gizem to call Özgür, that way he could see her password, her then being suspicious, but before that he wrote the password on the glass. So I was like, oh my god, imagine him forgetting the password, not remembering where exactly he wrote it down, and him just going all over the glass trying to find the password. It would have been so hilarious. I mean, he did forget the password, but he remembered where he wrote it. It was kind of annoying that she actually deleted all the files, all the numbers, all the messages, so he couldn't really see anything suspicious in her phone. And yeah, is there anything else? I don't think so. Then we have Levant, Cansu and Zaineb. Levant and Cansu are really happy, go hand in hand to work. Levant's ex-wife has a spy. She calls her, tells her about everybody congratulating Cansu and Levant. That woman actually sending Zaineb to Levant, telling her to stay over, to kind of move in with Levant so Cansu wouldn't be able to stay there. Before she came, Cansu was telling Levant that she wants to meet up with her parents and then he should ask for her hand, kind of. He's very against tradition, so he was making fun about it. But then he sees Cansu's reaction, so he agrees. As I said, Zaineb appears. Cansu offers to take care of Zaineb until Levant finishes work. She takes Zaineb to Lagabia. Emre takes Zaineb to the bar to kind of entertain her while Cansu is talking to Ezgi about what happened with Tolga. But then the little devil comes out and she looks at Cansu and is like, I don't want that cocktail anymore. I want to go home. Tells Cansu she is hungry. She wants to go. Ezgi is like, we can give you some food here because it's so amazing. She says, no, I want somewhere else. She's kind of surprised that Cansu is actually standing up and wanting to go. And that's when Sevim and Fitnat actually see Ezgi. So there's a little face of Fitnat not having a filter, looking at Cansu's ring, asking about a wedding date, about her biological clock, blah blah blah. It was so cringe. Anyways, Cansu goes to Levant's place. She bakes a cake with Zaineb. They have a great time, even invent a choreography which they show Levant in the evening when they give him the cake. And Levant is really touched, kind of, that they made a cake for him and they get along so well. They also play Jenga, and then Zaineb is like, I want Cansu to read me a book. It's quite a thick book and Cansu is almost falling asleep. She's also almost falling asleep, but then when she kind of hears that Cansu is not reading anymore, her eyes are wide open and is like, hello, keep reading. So poor Cansu falls asleep in Zaineb's room. Levant falls asleep on the couch, is really surprised to wake up in the living room, looks for Cansu, and then he's kind of frustrated and saying, well, I will talk with Zaineb, she's not allowed to do this anymore, blah blah blah, this is BS. But Cansu is like, no, just leave it, blah blah blah. And Zaineb actually listened to them and she has a very smug smile, and I was like, little devil, why? Because there are times when she really got along with Cansu, but then the little devil came out kind of influenced by her mother, and at breakfast she actually confesses that her mother influenced her to not be nice towards Cansu and that she's scared that Levant won't welcome her anymore and she's very sorry for everything that she did, blah blah blah. And it was kind of a very nice bonding moment, and I really like that finally Zaineb came around and accepted Cansu to be her stepmother. And now to the Ezgi and Özgür storyline. So we continue right where we left off. Özgür finding out that Ezgi is employed by Tolga. Tolga enjoying every second of it. Özgür getting more and more angry, beating Tolga up. But then Tolga is like, look what I have, read it. And I thought that letter was actually when he said, I have a couple of hours left, blah blah blah, I will do it for you to be proud of me, or I don't know what they said in the trailer, but it's not actually what is written in that letter, because he's actually blaming Ezgi for leaking private and confidential business information to Özgür, because he says, well, we trusted you with the laptop and the password, blah blah blah. And Ezgi gets really angry, and it's the first time we really see Ezgi standing up for her right. Özgür getting more and more angry with him because Tolga is like, I will go to the press and the police with this, blah blah blah. After Tolga leaves, Özgür is reassuring Ezgi that he will solve this problem. She's kind of all over the place because Tolga actually said to Özgür, cousin, and that's when she was like, what, cousin, your cousins, blah blah blah. So many bombs have dropped in that scene. Then we see Tolga telling this whole event to Serdar and Irem, being kind of proud of himself, knowing the weak spot of Özgür. And when he said what he did to Ezgi, Serdar got really angry and was like, don't do anything to Ezgi, because their main target should be Özgür and Ezgi should be left out of it. But Tolga doesn't mind at all. It also turns out that Tolga had this all planned out from the very beginning to buy this new restaurant, like the venue. Irem gets kind of jealous when Serdar tries to make sure that nothing will happen to Ezgi in this whole plan. Then Tolga is like, oh my god, you're lovers, and Serdar is like ex-lovers, and Irem is so angry and so frustrated and kind of offended that he called her that. In the car, Ezgi is actually asking what's up with Tolga, and that's when Özgür kind of reveals the whole backstory. So Tolga, as we know, is his cousin, but Tolga's father was a gambler and an alcoholic. Lagabia actually belonged to Tolga's father, but he gambled way too much that he gambled Lagabia away, and and Özgür's father, or basically his family, always took care of Tolga and his family, and Özgür's father talked to the person that won La Gabia, paid him double the price and wanted to give La Gabia back to Tolga's family, but Tolga's mother said no, it belongs to you now, rightfully so, because you paid for it. And that's what irks Tolga, because he knows that La Gabia belongs to him actually, but now Özgür has it and made it such a success. But one thing we still don't really know, because Özgür said, I got rid of him and he moved to America. What happened there? We still don't know, and I really want to know what happened for Özgür to kind of send Tolga away to America. Then we have Ezgi and Özgür arriving at La Gabia, showing Dennis the letter that she got from Tolga. Dennis telling her that her career would be over if this would be true, blah blah blah. So they're trying to find a solution. Özgür blaming Serdar, and then they kind of come up with the idea that there must have been a camera where she worked, so they're going to check, and Gizem is actually informing Tolga that they're going to check the cameras. They arrive at that party place, see that there's actually a camera overlooking the place that Ezgi worked at, go to the security guard, ask for the footage. He calls that footage man. We then see Irem actually manipulating Ezgi's computer, but he deletes the footage, says that there was some technical issues, blah blah blah, the footage can't be found. Nobody believes that technical guy, but then they kind of give up. Then we see Tolga showing Irem the footage, and she wants to take that footage, but Tolga is like, it will be safe with me. Irem kind of knows she lost against him. He has all the cards in his hand, and I'm like, he will for sure use that footage in the future. On the way back, Ozan confesses to Özgür that he kept the secret that Tolga actually came to La Gabia and said that it's going to be his place, blah blah blah. Özgür then puts two and two together and is like, okay, don't tell the girls, I know that Tolga wants La Gabia. He then leaves them at La Gabia. He goes to Tolga to talk to him. Ezgi then tells Gizem that Özgür went to Tolga. Gizem then tells Tolga, be prepared, he's coming. Ezgi and Dennis talk a little bit more about who could have been that person. Then they kind of get to Irem, and Dennis is like, oh my god, how stupid can I be? Of course it could have been Irem because all the documents would have been there, blah blah blah. So she decides to go to her former boss and tell him everything. Ozan is going with her. Dennis goes to her former boss, tells him everything. At first he was like, oh my god, look who came, being like, okay, she will come back crawling. And then when she starts talking, do you remember this, that the documents were missing, blah blah blah? Yes, of course I remember. Then when Dennis says that she kind of has a feeling that Irem was the one, he's very shocked. Irem? What? I don't believe it. In the meantime, we see Ozan talking to Irem, asking her to give him the documents, because now we know that Irem was the new lawyer of La Gabia, and he's like, I don't want you to be my lawyer anymore, because later he will give the folder to Dennis. So after Dennis comes downstairs, walks out with Ozan, she tells him that the boss will look things up. He actually does it. He gets really angry with Irem because he really sees on the CCTV footage that she really did what Dennis was telling him. So what I thought was kind of cute, when they were by the seaside talking, Ozan was saying, well, he's very happy, and if there's happiness, there's love, and she asks him, well, are you in love, or something like that, and he says, I love you, or I'm in love, I've always been in love with you. And I was like, oh my god. And then they get quite close, they're about to kiss, but the phone rings and it's actually the big boss. He apologizes to Dennis for everything he has done, that she was right all along. His door is always open for her to be the head lawyer in his firm, and please don't press any charges against Irem because it would ruin our reputation as well, because she worked so long for us. Dennis won't press any charges, but she won't go back either, because Ozan kind of motivates her to open her own space up. Then we have the Özgür and Tolga face off, where Özgür is asking Tolga what he really wants, and he says La Gabia, and Özgür is saying, do you know how much work I put into it to be such a success? And Tolga is like, well, of course, and that's why it's more valuable for me. And then Özgür is also telling him to stay away from him and his loved ones and to mind his own business, because he sees what a success Tolga's hotel is, so why is he even bothering about about that restaurant, and Tolga gives him 24 hours for a decision. After that fight Özgür had with Sevim and Fitnat, he takes Ezgi away, wants to get her mind off of things and asks her, what do you want to do? And she says, let's go to your place. And then he's like, no, it's our place. And I was like, oh my god. But before they cook, he says he's not hungry anymore, he wants to sleep. And I was like, naughty Özgür. Every time she has to choose between food or whatever, he wants to sleep with her. Oh my god, like naughty boy, naughty boy. Anyways, Ezgi's like, no, I'm hungry, I want to eat something. So they cook. We get those scenes from the trailer. Even when they were alone, they were kind of flirting with each other, sending each other kisses. It was so adorable. Oh, what I forgot to mention with Deniz and Ozan, he actually drives her to her place. She asks him for coffee. He accepts for the first time. And I was like, girl, we know that that's not coffee. There's some naughty things going on. I'm sure of it. Anyways, then we see Ezgi and Özgür on the terrace eating. And I was like, girl, they started cooking when it was still daylight outside. And now they're eating in complete darkness. How long did you cook? Or did you do the naughty? What I liked about that scene was them opening up what it means, for example, for Özgür to have Ezgi in his life and the other way around. It was really adorable. Then we also have this scene from the trailer where Ezgi is sleeping on Özgür's lap, him pondering and thinking about what should he do about Lagabia. And I have to say, I wouldn't have been able to sleep on that couch. If you look closely, there's like one part of the couch, then there's like a little table or something because it's free space, and then the couch continues. So I don't know how she did it. I wouldn't have been that comfortable to sleep the whole night there. The next morning Özgür is looking at her, and I think that moment when he looked at her sleeping there at his place, I think that kind of gave him the last push to say, okay, I will give Tolga Lagabia, because all I care about is Ezgi, and if she's happy, I'm happy. He also writes her a note that waking up to her scent every morning is the best thing in the world or something like that. Anyways, he goes to Lagabia, tells Ozan that he will sell the restaurant. Everybody is kind of shocked. Gizem tells Tolga as soon as she hears that Ezgi is actually the reason for Özgür to give Tolga Lagabia. Then Özgür kind of assembles all the staff and then asks them if they still want to work under him at the new restaurant, and all of them step forward except for Gizem and her being like, I wanted to be the PR manager whatever in the new restaurant, and Özgür is like, I didn't change my mind, this will be Ezgi's place, blah blah blah. And she's like, okay, well, I don't accept it, I don't want to work for you anymore. People were kind of shocked, but I was like, thank God, because if she continued to work under Özgür, a lot of things would have leaked, a lot of bad things would have happened. So Özgür goes to Tolga with all the documents. The conditions are Tolga will get Lagabia in exchange of him not giving that information about Ezgi to the press or the police, and for him to also give Özgür the new place. But the best thing for me was when Tolga wanted to shake hands and Özgür was just like, then we have Ezgi and Özgür being at the new place. Özgür telling her everything about Lagabia, blah blah blah. Her starting to plan this whole party. Him also telling her that she has 4 days. And she's like, I can't do this in 4 days. And he's like, well, you learn tango in 4 days, so you can do this. Ozan and Deniz also come. Deniz says that she found an office close to this restaurant, so she will open up her own law firm. Everybody was really happy, and she thanked Özgür and Ozan. And Özgür is like, well, we're family now, he's my brother, you're my sister-in-law. It was so amazing. And she was like, Yengi, really? Like, so it was really hilarious. Then we have the scene where Ezgi is planning the party with Özgür on the terrace, and he looked so good in that white t-shirt and those jeans. I was like, oh my god, you can wear a t-shirt more often, because it was something different. Now we got used to him in shirts, and before we were used to him with those tank tops, but a t-shirt, Oh my god. Anyways, Levant and Cansu come because they packed all of Cansu's things to move in with Levant. Now that Cansu's apartment is empty, Özgür doesn't really want to leave Ezgi because Ezgi doesn't want to live with Özgür, but at the same time not living next door because she still holds on to those conditions Nevin gave her. Then we have a little time jump of 4 days. The party is happening, or the opening is happening. The parents are coming. Ünal is very happy for Özgür. Everybody is really excited. Sevim even apologizing to Ezgi. Ezgi has the bracelet on from Sevim. So I do think after Sevim apologized to Özgür, she apologized to Ezgi kind of and also gave her the bracelet back. That gesture shows that there's no hard feelings anymore and the mothers are getting along. Ezgi is getting along with Sevim, or the other way around more so. And it was really nice to see everybody there. Levant looking like a mafia boss. Cansu even announcing that they decided to get engaged in a week and get married in a month. So Ezgi should plan everything. And then Levant invites Emre as well. Emre is like, well, I want to organize a bachelor party for you. It will be hilarious if Emre really does that. Then we see a little bit of Lagabia, like Gizem working there. It looked kind of empty. Tolga coming, them being really close, so I do think they started dating, and both of them being kind of annoyed that Özgür didn't invite both of them to the opening of the new restaurant. The parents are leaving the party and Özgür asking Nevin if he's allowed to work with Ezgi, and Nevin is like, we decided not to interfere anymore. And I was like, thank God. But it was really cute for Özgür to ask permission from Nevin. Anyways, the parents go. Everybody is dancing. Özgür once again confessing his love to Ezgi, saying that nothing matters because Ezgi still doesn't really believe that Özgür gave up Lagabia, and he's like, nothing else matters but you. I was like, good. And then the police comes and asks for Ezgi to come to the station. What? How dare you destroy this amazing scene? And that's the end. So in the trailer we see Ezgi and Özgür in prison. I don't know how Özgür got in there. Maybe he did something to not leave Ezgi alone. Sevim kind of being concerned about Özgür being there. Then Özgür talking to Ozan and Ozan being like, there's no sign of Mr. Wrong anymore, and he's like, I'm Mr. Fried Up, telling Ozan that he's so in love that there's no Casanova anymore in him left. And then Deniz telling Ezgi that Özgür is planning a surprise for her, maybe even proposing. And then Özgür kneeling down on the terrace proposing to Ezgi with the ring. I was like, what is happening? Why are you killing me this way? How am I going to survive till next week? But judging from Ezgi's expression, I don't think that she will accept. Either it's the shock or she will say no. I don't know. I hope it's the shock because I don't really want Özgür to be rejected or be sad or question his actions and then he's back at square one. I don't know. I already feel sorry for Özgür if she says no. I really don't hope so. But at the same time, I'm like, an engagement would be kind of too early. But then they also had this conversation where they talked about Levant and Cansu being engaged, and then if Ozan and Deniz would get engaged, wouldn't it be too early? And then Ezgi said no, it's not about the time but about the feelings. So I was like, oh my god, way too many things going on in my head. I don't know what else to predict. Oh my god, wow, I completely forgot. Irem going to the hospital. Cansu not really pleased by seeing her. Irem saying she needs to talk to Levant because it's very important. Cansu not really letting her. She's also there listening to what Irem has to say. Irem gives Levant proof that Serdar was doing some criminal stuff, taking money from the foundation. Then she's like, he deserves it because of the things he did to Ezgi and Özgür, blah blah blah. So she's kind of trying to be a good person now. So I don't know if it will be for the long run or is it just a revenge kind of, and then she will be back to where she was. Levant goes to Serdar, says that he should resign before he goes with the proof to the management. Serdar is really confused but doesn't really deny it. Then he's like, where did you get that from? Oh my god, Irem, of course. Oh my god, like my mind had some brain farts. Before that even happened, Irem goes to Serdar, says that she got fired and is really angry at him. He's blaming her, well, it's all you, blah blah blah, don't get me involved. And she gets really angry, and I think that was the point when she was like, okay, I will get revenge, I will give Levant all the documents. Anyways, Serdar then says, well, give me some time, I will resign, but give me some time. And I think that's all. Is there anything else to say? I hope I didn't forget anything. If I did, I'm really sorry. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this whole episode. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Ring that bell to be notified whenever I post something, and I will see you next time. Bye!